Girls behind bars. It is a growing trend that is sweeping our state and the country.
According to prison administrators, more and more young women are getting locked up and for violent crimes. Crimes officials say are often committed out of lack of supervision and a teenage girl's need to belong. Tonight, Audrey Washington speaks to two young female inmates who explain how their poor decisions landed them behind bars.
So tell me about this picture right here.
I think I was like 3 or 4. I was really young, and he took me to Disney World for my birthday.
26-year-old Bethany Nelson reflects on a picture of herself with her father during happier days, the many days before her incarceration.
I was convicted of accessory after the fact of first-degree capital murder, 5 counts of robbery with a dangerous weapon, and assault with a deadly weapon while inflicting serious injury.
Bethany says she was involved in a drug deal and robbery that turned fatal. Because Bethany took part in the robbery and did not report the murder, she was charged, convicted, and placed behind bars for 12 to 15 years.
One night I went out to party, and I never came home. And here I am, 8 years later.
And then there's Leslie Goodson.
My name is Leslie Goodson, and my number is 070-1093. And my charge is forgery and uttering false pretense, obtaining false property.
Leslie is 27, a mother of 2, and by her own description, a career criminal.
At the age of 12 and 13, I started doing crime.
By the time Leslie was 16, she was selling drugs and running a bogus check cashing scheme. She was finally turned in by her grandmother and ended up in prison here at the Fountain Correctional Facility for women.
It took me a good 7-8 months before I had to sit and think, I'm the reason I'm here.
But unfortunately, Leslie's story isn't exactly rare. In fact, administrators here say they've seen an increase in young women coming into this prison for violent crimes and serving some serious time.
And they don't have anybody to actually direct them in the path that they need to go. So a lot of them just get into gangs, get into whatever helps pass the time, and then they end up in prison.
And it's a trend that's sweeping the nation. According to the U.S. Department of Justice, as of December 2004, more than 100,000 women were held in state and federal prisons, up from over 68,000 in 1995. Bethany says she's not shocked by the statistics.
Because when I was out there, it was cool to be high. It was cool to fight. It was cool to pull guns on people, rob people. Society has made that cool today.
Now, with time on their hands, the girls sit and think on their regrets and their future. For Leslie, she thinks about her daughter, Maya.
There'd be times I'd be stoned, you know, and she'd come at me with the book and be like, Mama, read this, huh? And I'd be like, later on, Maya, you know, go on back in your room, play with your toys. But what I want to do to be there right now to read that book, you know? I really missed out on my father. He died 8 months after I was incarcerated, and I feel like I wasted those 8 months for nothing. And I'm going to have to live with that for the rest of my life.
And for any young girl thinking of living a life of crime, there's this message.
What really matters is family and your life and your future. And you make a mistake and you'll be sitting here 12, 15 years later wondering what happened to my life. Everything that's cool when you're 14 will not be cool when you're 30. You can trust that.
In Rocky Mount, Audrey Washington, WITN News.
Nelson is up for parole in 3 years. Goodson is due to be released next month. Coming up tonight on WITN News at 11, Audrey Washington will examine the unique prison program that helped rehabilitate those two women.